Good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to have you all joining us. You're back again for our next online presentation with Unison. We're so excited to welcome Coach Len today. We were supposed to be joined alongside Coach Len, her partner, with the author of the book that we're going to talk about today, Purpose Never Retires. So I won't give too much of it away, but unfortunately, Ian wasn't able to make it today. But we've got Coach Len here in her place, and she's ready to rock this thing. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Miss Len, I'm going to hand it over to you so you can get started with your information that you have for us. If anybody wants to take part in anything, go ahead and type in the chat box. I'll be monitoring that so we can make sure this is engaging for everybody. But join me in a big virtual round of applause for Miss Coach Len. Yay!
Thank you very much, Sarah. I am definitely excited to be with you today. I hope you are ready and, hold on to your seats. It's going to be a fun day today. So I'm going to start sharing my slide. We have not a very long time, I think, today, but, we'll make the best out of our session today. So I want to know, okay, I also have like two screens with me now. Bear with me. Um, okay. Are you seeing the slideshow right now?
Yes, ma'am. Purpose
Okay,
never
perfect.
retires.
Perfect. Yeah. Our session today is called Purpose Never Retires. This is a fun conversation about aging, wisdom, and joy. Oh my goodness, talking about age. And there's going to be a lot of things. I'm sure you're gonna smile. I'm already smiling today. When I was reviewing this material last night, I was like, oh my gosh, is this really me? So this is a little bit of me. I am from Calgary. I've worked in human resources for so many years, but for most of the time here in Canada, I have worked as a career counselor. If you see there 25 years, so that means I'm kind of old. And I have grown ups who are definitely over 25 years old. So I've worked in the corporate and in the nonprofit, and most recently I've helped a lot of immigrants in transitioning. I am a certified career coach. I'm a member of the Western Canada Career Development Association, and I am also a life and workplace coach. So I've done a number of sessions. I have worked also in the Indigenous community last year for some of the programs. So much about me, and we want to talk about why are we here and why this conversation really matters. So there's a few things that are here written on the slide. Like, when you talk about age, I was initially speaking. If I speak so fast, okay, buzz me or let us know, okay? Sometimes I have a tendency to get so excited.
So do I.
Um, around, yeah, around noon, I phoned a former colleague and coworker, and I was telling him, we're gonna prepare for International Senior Celebration, and on the side, I don't know why I mentioned it. I'm getting old. I'm gonna be a senior. I'm a senior, like and I said, oh, we've got like a few age difference, like the stage of this life carries wisdom, right? So when we think about age, our perspectives sometimes change. But one of the great things, as I mentioned earlier, when I was reviewing this material, I had to reread the book last night. I was just smiling and laughing instead of, thinking about it as something annoying, all the experiences that we have, right? So we're going to be sharing stories today. And then what I love is we all have our purpose. And our goal today is just try to revisit that quietly. Like our life changes, our body changes, right? So where do we pick up our purpose? We even have this. I brought a tote bag with this one to the US. I was in the US in December, so an aunt loved it. Like he says, purpose never retire. So we are saying growing older does not mean growing invisible. If you're feeling something in this one of being invisible, your Unison group definitely has a lot of support that will be available. This is just like, tickling you a little bit and telling you, hey, we can do more. So if we look at our stories, the laughter and the lessons that we have learned in life, then we get to step in a different perspective saying, yeah, my story matters, right? So we have five principles that we want to look into today. Number one is presence over productivity. How many of you here are so guilty that, if you're sitting down, you say like, why am I not doing anything? Why am I not doing anything? Believe it or not, I'm so guilty of that. But one of my goals this year is to really slow down. I literally gave a book to a friend of mine from the church on Sunday, a book which was given to me by my daughter. I had two copies of it. It says, Do Nothing. Wow. How do we even do that? Connection over compassion. So we are all connected here. Imagine the blessing and the great thing about technology. We can chat, and you're sitting in your own couch with your coffee, but you're learning something and having fun. And there is joy in small things. Even knowing that, you lost something and then all of a sudden you found it. Yay! That gives you so much joy. And as we probably share a little bit of our stories today, there's going to be a wisdom. In all the years that we've lived our lives, there's definitely wisdom in that. And number five, which is one of the things that I love also in this session, is self-kindness as a daily medicine. How many of us are guilty of putting a long list for the day and then it's 5 o'clock? You say like, I only did like two of those things on my list. Wait a minute, guys. Be kind to yourself. So it's difficult to say be your own boss, but my personal motto, additionally, aside from the slowing down, is being kind to myself. Okay. Now let's find out how we can do some of those things. So today there's going to be lighthearted stories about aging, and yes, reflections that you yourself would say, yeah, that is correct. That happened to me too. And a simple conversation that can model you anywhere, whether with your kids and your grandkids, right? So Ian really apologizes. She is the author of the book All But Gold. I'm going to show you a picture later. Just like what we have mentioned today, she really wanted to be here today, but there are some important situations, family priorities that she has to look into. So she is also a career coach. I have partnered with her, and she's a colleague, and we do a lot of programs together. She has worked in Calgary area to support and help people get jobs. And she is an experienced human resource professional. But the great thing is, from all this experience, we have this book. In fact, she has four different books just from last year. And one of my favorites is this one, Old But Cold series. And we say growing older is mandatory, but growing boring is entirely optional. Come on, everyone. We want to have fun and smile and
I
then
love that.
get a copy of this book. Oh my gosh, you're
You
just
know
gonna
what?
smile.
If I
Yeah,
can just interject for a second there,
sure.
Len, I just want to say too, so Ian and Len were both kind enough to stop by Unison at Kirby and come by the Adult Day program, which I also manage, and drop off a little gift to us. And it included the book, Old But Gold. So we began doing, as a group in Adult Day program, reading this book every maybe bi-weekly or monthly for sure to the same group, and we've heard nothing but compliments and how much people love this book. I wish it was longer. We're going to go through it right away here. It has just been so funny, so heartwarming. It's just been such a wonderful addition to our program. So I really do encourage, I'm not biased at all. I encourage anybody out there that is, it just wants a little bit of optimism and a few laughs, and it's such a heartwarming book. So I really encourage you to go out and find it.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for that. And it's very, very authentic, believe it or not. So
Hmm.
this is maybe I want to just read a part of this. So this is Ian's note for us today, right? So she's looking forward to our session today, but her mom, who's 77 years old, she needed to spend time with her for some a family urgent medical situation too. But she is definitely here with us in spirit. I sent her a text. She's in a different time zone at the moment. But yes, as we have mentioned, Sarah has copies of the book, and now I actually have copies in Calgary, extra copies that she left with me. So much for more. Yeah, you can take a picture of this if you know how to do a screenshot or get your other phone and take a picture. This is the old but gold. Look at that funny illustration, right? It's available on Amazon. Let's take a look at the book and what it is all about. So there's humor, and we all believe that the muscles that we use when we smile or we dance is even really, really helpful for our health, right? So, and we want to look at those imperfections. So, I don't know if you're like me in the past, like you get frustrated why you can't even put the needle and the thread together, and you need to use another tool to put it together. Or you're definitely going to look for your glasses and you don't even know where your reading glasses are, right? So, but this could be some frustrating things, but they're not imperfections, right? So laughing with life instead of laughing at ourselves and not ourselves, right? Because of this frustrating situation. And then, as I mentioned, we want to look at life and aging with wisdom, not as a decline or thinking you are less of a person because there are things you can't do anymore. Now, so the book was written with in dedication for her mom too, and some of her friends. And while she was writing all of these books, I was with her, walking with her, and journeying in this actual experience of gathering all those fun moments, challenging moments, right? So laughing, laugh at aging instead of fearing it, and it reminds us all of this that we can live our lives fully in everyday moments. I don't know if you even smiled after taking your coffee or tea this morning. It's sunny. If you live in Calgary, oh my goodness, this is the most unique season because it's January, but we can see the sun, right? So there are moments that we want to just say, wow, breathe and say thank you with that gratitude in our hearts, right? So celebrate that growing older can still be joyful even going to
Len,
go
can
ahead.
can I just interrupt and ask? So because I did have a comment that says in the chat box, it's too bad that the picture on this book, the cover, seems like it would be an overweight senior instead of a healthy role model. So
Oh,
can you
yeah,
at all speak
no,
to why you guys chose that picture for the cover of this book?
that's really really very interesting, and that it has a lot to do also with a little bit of the marketing. And this is not at all saying that we want to laugh and have fun because of the picture, but it's actually an intriguing picture that will catch the attention of people, right? So it did not mean anything to degrade any personality or body figure, and all that. Not at all, not at all, my friends. So when I look at this book right now, I just I just remember some parts of my body, but yes, it is very intriguing in a way that I would really open the book. But it is not. We apologize if it can be offensive, but that's a good feedback, and we will look into that one, like moving forward for the rest of the other books that will be considered. Thank you very much for that note. Now, here are some stories that we would like to look into our experiences. But before we get into that one, I want us to pause and look at this check-in. Who among you has stood up from a chair recently and your back or knees made a sound effect louder than you expected? I don't know if you know what I mean.
It
All
happens to
those.
me all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Even for me, I do have an SI joint challenge. So I'm a regular at the chiropractor, right? So, and I would celebrate if I don't hear any sound, right? So this is happening to not just you, but a lot of people, right? So And we said, okay, that's part of me. Then we try to find ways to manage it instead of staying frustrated with what's happening. And
We
we,
had
oh,
somebody, sorry,
yeah,
Len, I keep
no,
interrupting, but
okay, that's okay.
I just want to say we had somebody type in that said, I hear that all the time, but I honor it because that means I'm alive.
Amen
Those
to that.
noises.
That is so beautiful. That is so true, right? So, and that you can move and get up. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I just traveled recently. I think Sarah knows that. Like, and you can just imagine sitting for a very long time on the airline and moving from one, check-in to another. It definitely is painful in your back and in your knees.
That's
So
right.
the first part of the old but gold, right, comes in a stage in life where our body starts sending you notifications, not just the phone notifications, right? And the worst actually is like saying, no, that's okay. No, I don't need to notice. Like, it's gonna be fine. It's important to be also self-aware, right? So, and now what are we gonna do about it? If you disregard certain important body symptoms or reminders, it may not be a better reminder the next time, right? So, no, and then we said, like, like this is what she's saying. You never feel like, okay, I feel younger today. No, it's always something like, take it easy. My balance myself is a challenge. So I continue to do my yoga. And then one time when I was complaining about my SI joint, my friend suddenly said, and what are you doing about it? Oops. Like sometimes that is so true, right? So the different parts of our body, we feel some pain. So acknowledging it and finding ways to manage it and go slowly.
Absolutely. What are you doing about it? I love that question, Len. That's such a good answer. We had somebody type in the chat box that says, because I exercise and she's proactive, I only hear a crack. I rarely hear a crack, only when I was younger. Yes. So growing older, making sure you're staying proactive and physically active, here's less cracks now than when she was younger.
That's so true. And some of the things, like even for me, I tried Tai Chi and all that, because sometimes you cannot always run, especially in the winter. Like when my mom was here, my mom's 89 years old. So, and one of the challenges, of course, is standing up upright. But sometimes we try to just go against the wall and put your back over there. 3 seconds, 10 seconds, count, breathe, and then recognize yourself. But being aware and minding how our body feels is very, very important. All right. What about this? Kumongyu opens the fridge, hoping the purpose of your visit returns, meaning like, what did I actually need in this refrigerator? Or I don't know. Here's a funny one. Um, Sometimes spouses they just make fun of each other. They go to the pantry, say, "Where's the salt?" This is what happens to me and my husband. He said, like, "Where's the salt?" Can you yell inside the pantry? Maybe it will respond and say, "Hey, I am here." Because it's just like in front of you, like, right? And I don't know, this is really, really funny, but we need to be more aware of our environment. But it's okay. We forget things, and sometimes we get lost in our own kitchen, right? So, and walking over there and said, why did I go over there? I don't know. Does anyone have a tip over here? What do you do when you go over there and then like, what am I doing in here again? What do you actually do? Type it in the chat, like,
Yeah, so if anybody has an idea when you walk into a room and you forget why you're there, does anybody have any tips or tricks that they use to kind of ground themselves? Lori says, I go back to where I was, retrace my steps, and that's me too, Lori. I think, what did I come in here for? Where was I? So mentally, okay, I was sitting on the couch. I noticed I ran out of coffee. I came back in here. Ah, my spoon, something like that, right? You retrace your steps. I do it mentally, but physically is absolutely the probably an easier way to do it. And we're getting some thumbs up.
Excellent, excellent. That is so true. For me, I also walk by, but sometimes I just pause and then sometimes I just close my eyes, making sure you're safe, right? And what
Yeah.
was I trying to do? Because sometimes in our lives, I don't know if there are moms over here, grandmas, we want to do so many things. We multitask. One of the things I said also today for myself, like for this year, is I mentioned slowing down and being kind to myself because I'm so guilty of sitting down, having breakfast, but my computer is already open. Oh my goodness, how can you even enjoy your egg and your hot coffee? So,
Hey,
and those can confuse you, right? And then you start, getting up and walk to the kitchen and you said, wait a minute, what's happening over here, right?
yeah,
So,
Carla says I laugh and then I direct my mind to remember to go back where I was.
excellent, excellent. Here's a tip. Well, Ian was saying, okay, just grab a snack then, I
Ah,
know you're probably not allowed to get that cookie, but okay, get half of it or just get the edge of it, right? So,
if you
uh,
forget where you are, just grab a cookie and go sit
yeah,
down.
that isn't that fun. And don't check your sugar, okay? Maybe check
Yeah.
your sugar in the evening, after you've done some detox and all that, right? Um so sometimes we encounter this with the people around us. What are you looking for? And I'm curious, it's not in the slide. When you get frustrated and someone else is with you, the frustration actually happens when you get embarrassed and then like, what? You went back over there like 3 times or 4 times. How do you even handle that? Anyone wants to put in the chat? Like, you're already lost, and then someone criticizes you, maybe a teenager or, a young adult saying, like, Mom, you keep forgetting. Like, instead of being kind to you, how do you handle it?
Yeah, type it in the chat box if you've, kind of had a senior moment, which I don't like to call senior moments, but if you forget why you are where you are, and then somebody kind of pokes fun at you or something, how do you handle that? Now, me, I can tell you, I have a 16-year-old daughter, and when I do that and she laughs at me, I just tell her, "Honey, stay in your lane. Okay, I pay the mortgage."
That's a good one.
Lori says, I just laugh and I let them know that their time is coming. I like that, Lori.
Yeah,
And yeah, and someone else says, oh, just wait. We all go through it.
yeah. That is so true, right? So I think for me, you're probably still thinking about like how did I even handle that right now? It's very difficult to be emotional about certain things, but our emotion is in our own control, right? So knowing how to emotionally regulate is very, very important. And little things like this one, it happens to all of us actually, right? So another interesting question for all of us. Okay, I love this part. Man, I've worked all my life and the office requirements are mostly, certain passwords, then you reset and then automatically you get a reminder. We once ran a program for seniors in Calgary. It was funded by MSF, Seniors New Horizons funding. And what we did was we bought iPads for seniors and to help them use technology, right? And I was trying to help someone, and she doesn't have a phone number and she doesn't have an email address. We are trying to help them create Facebook. Imagine how frustrating it was, but we use some people would like to use Facebook because they can connect with families all over, right, in different places. But one of the biggest challenges is this one, right? I forget my password too, right? So I'm used to the computer, and then we don't understand like why is it that this technology is supposed to make our life easier, even for me and Sarah. It's so funny today, right? So we were set and ready, everyone, like, before 1 o'clock, 10 minutes prior to, and then almost at the time, it would just happen. Right? So technology is here with us. Now, the reality is you just updated your phone and then all of a sudden it's saying like, okay, why do I need to do? Like, I just want to open this. I don't know if you open TikTok and all that. I wanted to just see some of the dances of all the other families back in Virginia because we did it when we were there. And I clicked it twice and I had to update twice and I still didn't see the dance, right? So this is happening to all of us, but how are we managing this one? This is a reality. You can choose to avoid, you know, if it's frustrating you too much, and go to the basics. even remote controls. Oh my goodness. In Canada, I think in our lives, there's more TV than people in the house. I don't know if you've heard
Yes.
households like
Yes.
that. There's more,
Absolutely.
yeah. And then therefore, there's a lot of different remote controls. So my son updated our set of like television, Google Chrome, and then casting. But now we have just one piece of a remote control, and my husband say, I still don't know how to operate this one. And then imagine if you turn on the TV, you would find all different applications. How are you gonna navigate this one?
You
So
know
this is
what? I'm sorry, Len, to pop in, but
go
I just want to say, yeah, so Carla did type in the chat box and said, those that grew up with computers working in the office, this is generally not a problem. And I mean, to agree to that to a certain extent, but I will also say that I grew up, you know what I mean? Like I was born in the 80s, I grew up in the 90s when technology was coming in, and I have the opportunity, to be on online quite often. I'm emails daily. But even when I go home, like I have three remotes, and my biggest concern is I'm like, okay, how do I do this? And my husband says, oh, just let me do it. I'll just do it for you. So I'm not learning, and that is probably my biggest cross to bear is that I need to learn it because, one day you're not going to be able to just come home and teach, you know what I mean, and do it for me. I have to learn it. So that's a big problem. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying, but it's three remotes. Who needs three remotes for one TV, guys? Come on. Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with you. And even for me, like you hear me now, I have two monitors. I have my computer. I've used computer also all my life, but I started with I don't know, the box one. Like I don't know if you guys, some of you would agree with me.
With
And
bunny ears.
yes, the one which is the bigger ones. That was like many, many years ago. I'm really, that's what I've used. But up to now, I continue to catch up with technology. My son and my daughter, they're grown ups, and sometimes I would just text my son, are you busy? Can I bug you? I'm working, mom. Like, because I can't even, like, what happened to my speaker? What happened to my camera? Little things like this, they do happen, and often we need help, right? I think the great thing about this too is there's always YouTube, like how to even do this, right? If there's YouTube about how to use your air fryer, even the technology could be very, very helpful. And some of us would say, man, I've used, but for safety, this is not my topic, but I wanted to emphasize as you read through this slide and the story of Bob about trying to log into his email, then, reset his password and incorrect. Look at this funny part. He said after three failed attempts, he reset it. He made a new one, wrote it down, and guess what? Next time it was still incorrect. What
Mm.
happened to Bob? It turns out he was logging into his Netflix, not his email.
Yeah, so you can make a quick mistake like that. Carla also typed in the chat box and said, when my father was alive, he had a failing memory. We wished we had an old TV where we could just go up to the TV, push a button, turn it on, and have an old channel changer because it was just a simple life.
I agree. I agree. So, and I agree with you because sometimes for me, that also happened to me. I just want to sit down. Why is my son's profile over there? I have to go to my own profile. I just want to relax and watch my,
Yeah.
recent
Yeah.
Frankie series. That's all I need. Like, and that is so true. So you're not alone in that one.
That's
But
right.
by the way, I want to just go back in that little part about passwords. We also, I don't know, maybe in the future, Sarah, you can look into cybersecurity basic tips for everyone. I
That's a
completely
good.
attend cybersecurity because I have this other collaborator, like partner school. And one of the things that I wanted to do is really provide some basic learning for seniors to get into the security because there is vulnerability. Because sometimes, how do you even work on passwords? But there is hacking and there is abuse over there too.
Hmm.
So, yep, I know I saw in Indigo something that is being sold password notebook. So, but that's still a weird one. We also want to write, but there are ways for you. That could be another session, ways for you to really look into safety online.
And quickly, just before we change slides there, Len, I just want to say Ron typed in and said, I'm 70 and my undergrad was in computer science. I had a 40-year career on it, and I get overwhelmed with technology all the time. It takes a lot of maintenance, and I have less and less bandwidth, and I just get frustrated with it. And the thing that was said earlier is key. Simplify, simplify, simplify. You make good points about getting help at a senior center. That's absolutely right. So just a few different touch bases there. Yeah, if you can, get help anywhere like Unison at Kirby, any family members, any friends. Because yeah, even Ron, who his undergrad was in computer science, even this person's having trouble. Because innovation over time, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And then the simpler it is, it could be as simple as, identifying which channels do you really need. You don't need all those apps in your phone. So if you just need one, two, three, or four, or five apps, that's it. Or else you will have trouble navigating. This is a fun one, right? So who among you has spent minutes searching for something? Your phone, your keys. I have a little bit of a story over here. This is really, really interesting, only to find out it was already in your hand or on your head. Who's guilty over there?
Hmm.
Has this happened to you? I
Yes.
was, yeah, I was in a meeting yesterday morning. So I had my reading glasses. This one's my reading glasses. And then I had to fix my computer. And then I stood up for the next meeting. Said like, Romeo's the name of my husband. Where's my reading glasses? Where's my reading glasses? It was just here and all that, right? So it's so funny. It was just right in front of me under my notebook. But I literally like spent like maybe 15 minutes going back and forth in the bedroom and all, right? So yeah, it happens to all of us. And can I share one interesting story too? Not on the
Please.
reading glasses, but I mentioned that we traveled recently, well, in a very, very nice beach area, like in Dominican. So myself and my husband, he has this tiny kind of wallet or card holder. So we've been in that resort for like almost like 3 days. And then we realized, I don't know where my license, credit cards, and that thing is. Oh my goodness. Like, and we're very, very far. Thank goodness we have passports, but all the credit cards, the driver's license is there and all that. Man, we tried our very, very best to really look for it, emptied all the backpacks and all that, right? So at that time, of course, we said like, okay, let's give up on looking, start calling. So we started calling the banks, and then figured out how we can get get all replacements. This is what's interesting. So we were able to do all of those. When we arrived in Canada, maybe 2 days or 3 days after, he sent me a picture of that kind of thing, that this card holder said, it's magic. Where did you find it? The whole thing was just there. It was in a zipper in my backpack. I zipped it up because I knew I wanted to secure it. It was too secure. He doesn't even remember that he kept it there, right? I don't know if it has happened to you, but it happens, right?
You know
So
what, Len? Carla just typed in the chat box, and said, I've put on glasses on top of my glasses. I I cracked up laughing, realizing I was preoccupied in my thoughts. Glasses on your glasses.
totally, right? Holy moly. So what are they gonna do? Just celebrate all those, great things that okay, I found it, good thing, instead of staying frustrated. Because
That's
I
right.
don't like, being frustrated all the time. We can get frustrated in certain situations. But I said our key word for today is be kind to yourself. Right? And then when you're kind to yourself, you naturally are kind to others also. Right? So some other thoughts. This is about freedom. Forgetfulness is your superpower. This is what he had said. Here's a little advice. He said, forgetfulness is your brain's way of telling you to, I like this, slow down and enjoy the present moment. Right? Because if we're in a rush, you said, I can't even like finish my coffee because I need to open my computer or I need to call this, because some of us we experience certain anxiety because we wanted to do things right away. Like if we have a long list, oh, I need to call my granddaughter, I need to call my son, I need to tell him to fix the sink or something like that. And then you start forgetting things because you wanted to do so many things at the same time for the whole morning. You have a day, right? So don't put everything there, for example, for the start of the day, but slow down. And that impacts the way we think and manage things, right? So don't worry about where you left your glasses, what you were just talking about, right? And then she said, don't sweat the small stuff. So, and let's not feel guilty that, I'm a senior. And then, that's why this is happening to me. And it's like punishing yourself. Please don't. One of the
Ron,
good things, yeah,
Ron says, yeah, to learn to stay in the moment, you have to learn mindfulness.
mindfulness is the best. And I don't know if you are fond of using journals. I have my mindfulness. I listen to a podcast. It's called Breathe Stressless Proud Podcast at the start of the day because it really allows you. And that's an experience where I personally have learned that rushing to be productive is not healthy in a way that you try to be productive and you don't become productive because you're always in a hurry. But yes, mindfulness is an investment for yourself and it's a gift for yourself.
Ron says this stuff it's taught at hospitals, senior centers. So yeah, that's really important too.
Yeah.
If you can learn to be mindful, I think yeah, it keeps you in the present moment.
Thank you very much, Ron. That's like spectacular. And then I want to say, get the best out of seniors discount. The first time we experienced seniors discount was we were lined up in a buffet in Las Vegas. He said, "Is there a senior discount here?" Like my cousin, my husband's cousins, and then my husband said, "Like, how old is the senior in here?" Wow, the senior discount there I think was like at that time like 55. So I don't know at that time in that hotel I can't remember but what? Okay, I'll take it. Like now we're so proud of getting that discount, right? So when we tell our stories, it reminds us of our valuable experiences and the lessons, right? So and they help us feel seen, heard, and understood. And yes, laughter, lightens the hard parts of aging. I want to add in here, it's not in the slide, but singing. I don't know who here, who in the group loves karaoke or just singing. Um, uh, Last week, after we got back, I finished cleaning up the basement with all the Christmas mess. I said, like, can I do karaoke now? Like, so, and then my husband was saying, is this your mental health session? So singing is also helpful, right? So and sharing stories passes wisdom to others. Spend time with your grandkids, and then I think the holidays can be painful for others, and then sometimes it's also a time to remember all those great memories and talk about stories. For my family, I'm gonna be vulnerable in here. We lost two people in our family last year, so the time together in the US was very, very meaningful for all of us. It's an investment of our time together. The stories help us make sense of where we've been and where we are now. How many of us are actually courageous enough to say, this is what's happening with me? I remember, well, my mother-in-law passed away, and some of the things that she uses some hearing aids, and then of course she wants to save money because hearing aids and batteries are expensive. And she said she would whisper to me, and she said, when we go online to talk to people from Switzerland, gotta tell me when the call is going to happen. I'm gonna put on my hearing aid, right? So, and because she's like Nanai, we call her Nanai. Do you have your hearing aids? Okay, are we gonna be in a meeting now? And sometimes even with my mom, when I speak to her on Messenger, can you hear me, Ma? She would just nod. But you don't know if that's really that she's hearing. Can you tell me what I said? So sometimes we're being tested like this on, but I think it's very important for us to recognize where we are at. And if we need help, then we can always get that support, right?
Absolutely. And Ron says body movement helps our mood, acceptance, and gives peace. For example, senior Tai Chi, chair exercises, those are all very important. Absolutely, Ron. That's 100%. And that's as the adult day program manager at Unison at Kirby, that's a holistic program. We target physical, cognitive, social, and emotional health and well-being, and it's daily. So all of those absolutely very, very important in relation to our mental health and well-being.
Spectacular. Maybe one of these days I'm gonna pop in that Tai Chi or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, come do Tai Chi with us.
Yeah, yeah. Because the Tai Chi, you would start with your breathing and all that, right? And it's
Hmm.
not in a rush. And yes, the chair yoga.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Carla says I'm learning to play the baritone ukulele and play chess.
Wow.
Very, very important. Chess for the mind, baritone ukulele, good for your fine motor skills, good for your memory. Bravo, Carla. That's great.
And you can just imagine how music is healing, right? So when you get it's not about just like in drawing or writing, like I have two grown-ups who are actually artists, right? So it's an expression, but it's not about the beauty and saying like you color past the lines or something like that.
Hmm.
But also with music, it's how you even sing it, it's how you play it, and your journey as you get into this beautiful activities to take care of yourself, to heal. Love it. Thank you
That's right.
very much.
It's very emotional, right? So that's very, very important. So, and Ron says, "Yay, Carla, way to go."
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I
I
think
love we got each other's backs in this group today. I love it.
totally, totally. The music, the Tai Chi. Wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
You gotta get up. And remember, I want to go back. Even if you do Tai Chi and then you say, like, there's the part where you step forward and then backward, right? So, and then go slow and even with the ball and all that. If there are cracks, that's okay.
Yep.
That's okay. Fairly fine. Don't get embarrassed. It happens to all of us, right? So, all our wisdom counts, like every experience, just like today. I love it that you guys are all sharing, right? So, what we're saying here, there's lots of slides, but I'm gonna hurry up and all that because I hope really moving forward we can spend more session together in the way we live life and we value life, right? So um now let's take a look at this one, right? So what sparks connection with you? So this question is basically as you want to stay connected with new people or with people that you've known, right? So what is that spark that makes you or keeps you stay connected?
The spark that keeps us staying connected. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Take time to think about that, everybody. Type it in the chat box if you want to share a moment to reflect on what's meaningful, what's funny, what's true for you these days, something that sparks connection. I mean, for myself, just while we're waiting for hopefully others to type in the chat box, I'm gonna go to music. I do, Len, I know that you were talking about music. I love to sing. I love music. It's so emotional, and I love how powerful it is. It can make you cry. It can make you happy. It can make you sad. It can make you rage. It's just so much can happen with music. So that music is how I stay grounded, I stay connected. I have two daughters and a husband at home, so I might as well have three kids at home. And I use music to kind of bring myself back down.
Precisely, precisely. Anyone else? No, thank you for sharing that.
Anyone else? What about you, Len? What do you do?
This is very interesting. Even this whole session is also a very exciting journey for me, entrance session. Well, I love I think I love eating. I want to say I love eating, but we want to manage the sugar, right? So
Mm.
for me, I don't care what we're gonna eat, but the time together, conversations, I love that part. Like this coming Thursday, I have a women's group. We're doing it at the Passini and all that. But I'm trying to figure out, okay, it's in the evening, it's dinner and all that. What am I gonna eat? But I don't really care. I am gonna go, but because I'm gonna see the ladies, we didn't do this in December. We're gonna do it this Thursday.
Yeah,
I
it's not about the food, it's about the connection. And I love that. That just takes it to such a different angle, Len.
yeah.
Ron says he resonates with a group that he exercises to his generation's music. So, I mean, that's all the best music I can only assume. All the best music is before, I would say the early 2010s. Anything earlier than that, that's all the best. Anything after that is kind of
Right, Ron.
not
Ron,
my cup of tea.
are you gonna type in which music, Ron? So maybe we know that kind of music.
What decades, Ron? Yeah, you got to type those in, buddy. We got to get going here. Are we 70s, 60s, 50s? The 70s. Yeah, my kind of man.
Okay. I
I
don't know if
love
the
it.
summer of 69 is what kind of music is that? What year? But
Well, that's Brian Adams,
yeah.
69. So that was,
Okay.
I mean, maybe that's late 80s, Brian
Yeah.
Adams.
Okay. All right.
Carla says, in my household, we have multiple ages. Hence, at dinner time, we eat together. I love that too, Carla. I do that at my house. That's something that I really stuck when I was growing up. I have five brothers, and then it was my mom, and we would just eat when we were hungry, eat on the couch, eat at the table, eat in our rooms. I didn't like that. So I said, when I, have my own family, I'm going to make sure we have dinner every night together at the table. We talk about our days. I think that's really important. So, yeah, I do that too, and I love that. I love that, Carla.
Great. Anyone else? That's really great. It's really great.
hmm And Ron says, yes, Carla, isolation is a killer of seniors. 100% isolation. There's so many studies done on how important socialization is related to your physical and mental health. Lucy says, I'm 71 years old. I just retired 6 months ago, and I'm having a hard time with connections. Lucy, you got to come down to Unison at Kirby, my friend, if you can. We have so many places where you can make great friends here. There's so many things to be a part of. We would just love to meet you in person, Lucy. Len, anything that you want to add to that, to
Uh,
Lucy?
no, I think, yeah, especially for Lucy, you probably have been working like for so many years. And when I meet with our leaders, in the past, I worked with a nonprofit. Some of the things that I said, like one of our biggest challenges is really transitioning from the very busy every day you wake up. Even for myself, my son saying, Ma, you don't have structure now because you're used to waking up and going to the office, opening your computer. That particular component is really that gap is really very, very important. And I think, yes, staying connected, but making the right choices. Because sometimes, like, okay, I don't want to do that, but I want to connect to people that I value and people who has the same set of values and interests as mine, right? Because don't feel guilty that you're not busy anymore, you're not doing this, and I am not my job. Always remember that, right? So if you just retired, I've seen a lot of women, and there's so much that we can really still do moving forward. We can be
Absolutely.
an inspiration. And yes, definitely stay connected with Unison.
Carla says, I also spend time reading my Bible, and from that, it encourages me to reach out and connect and help people. I love that too, Carla. That's something. Lucy, I don't know, you know what I mean? If you want to volunteer and stuff, that's connection. And donating your time, that's such a great way to meet new people. So I really love that and help people, like Carla said. So great response there, Carla.
And this is definitely wisdom from the group, right? So I'm just here to facilitate, but there's definitely lots of years of experience and lots of actual milestones, the challenges, and how we were able to overcome them. We're almost done with our time. Just pick one. So this you don't have to be sharing this now, but you can take a picture of this one, or if you're ready to respond, these are some of our reflection questions. What is something that brought you joy this week? What one thing are you proud of at this stage of your life? And what's one area you've become more patient or wiser? Oh, I this question, my son is always saying, like, Mom, I also have a daughter, by the way. So my son is always saying, Mom, one, don't be a Karen. Second, Mom, you're losing your patience.
Don't
So
be
there's
a
a lot of
Karen.
like walking backwards. If I am in a situation, so I got two flights that have been either canceled and delayed, and then we missed some flights. Imagine whew, I gotta breathe, and I'm gonna talk nicely, patience, and then be wiser in terms of if I, get angry with this agent, it's probably not gonna, give me a flight to the closest destination I have to go to.
Yeah.
What recent senior moment made you laugh instead of stress? And what is one kind of thing you can offer yourself this week? Thank you.
Len,
Here's one question. Go ahead.
I want to say, so when we mentioned senior moment, so I went to the Healthy Aging Alberta Summit last
Okay.
year, and they talked about ageism, and we all know that's a very important topic. And Jane Fonda was on the big screen, and she talked about how they want to restructure and rephrase the whole idea behind senior moment
Okay.
because we had somebody who showed up there who got her PhD at 80 years old. And that is a senior moment. We had
Wow.
somebody who climbed, a very high mountain at 76 years old. And that was a senior moment. So it's all about the angle at which you look at it from. So we want to change senior moment from being like, oh, I forgot. And that I had a senior moment to being like, I did this, I'm proud of it. And that was my senior moment. So I always think of that when I hear the word senior moment.
Wow, totally. I
And
met someone in November. She is the CEO of Paro. I don't know. I'm gonna probably share it with you the website. This is a Paro Circle. It's a social enterprise for women. She's over 70 and she was like strong standing over in front of the whole group and doing her speech and runs an organization, right? So
yeah.
these are some reflection questions. I don't know if anyone wants to share anything, but I want to make sure we cover some of the slides. Yeah, this conversation is very, very important today. Thank you for taking time. They remind us that we are not alone in this season of our life. They create moments of connection and laughter. I hope you laughed a little bit or smiled a little bit today. And then, of course, we honor all those amazing lived experiences and inner strength and how we were able to overcome the challenges and they help us carry the wisdom forward together. So your voice matters, your wisdom counts, definitely your purpose continues. Sometimes we modify a little bit of that purpose, okay, yeah, I'm not running for worried about the bills. Yeah, there's still bills, by the way. Sorry. I'm saying not so much on the bills for the university degrees and everything because they're all done, but you still have a purpose. You definitely have. And it's very, very important for us to continue to rediscover that every day is meaningful for each and every one of us. So she also had this one. I brought this in my trip, really grace moments. You can look at it online in Amazon. So there's some writing. Some of the pages, one of the pages that she mentioned over there was about packing. I always overpack. Her question was, when was the last time you overpacked? Some of the things that I've learned now is really big rocks first, the most important things first. Imagine my husband was criticizing me and telling me, your toiletries, because I have a huge bag of toiletries, and then I have another one that folds three folds. Why do you need to have this two? Because I'm always overweight, and but that is also a very good feedback in a way you get to learn certain things and it becomes funny, not offensive at all, right?
It's
And
constructive.
that is so true, that is so true, because saves you money. You don't want to pay for extra luggage, right?
Yes.
So this is amazing. I really, really want to thank everyone for their participation, your time. I know there's a lot of stories. I hope I can go back in one of them, maybe in-person sessions, and we can just chat over there over coffee. Thank you for your wisdom. So this is Coach Len. I am a life coach and I do one-on-one coaching for individuals, and I also am a career coach, meaning I help people plan for their careers. And this is also available, yeah, in Calgary if you need it. And I think you have a copy. That's what you mentioned, right?
I do have a copy. Yes, I've got a copy in Adult Day program. And as Len mentioned, you can get it on Amazon if you're interested in reading it. But it has brought in some big laughs to the Adult Day program. So yeah, we're very pleased that we can offer it. Thank you guys so much, Len and Ian, for bringing that. I also just want to touch base on a few things that were in the chat box. So I did. You mentioned, Len, I hope you leave today having laughed a little bit or smiled a little bit. And I think if we haven't laughed or smiled quite yet, that this comment in the chat box is going to do it. It says, "I find embarrassing that an unexpected fart comes bursting out into the room." So that sometimes happens when we're older. It's a, I mean, we all know but it is it's a funny, that's a little bit of a, as we age, it's like, I don't, what happened? I can't hold it anymore, you know?
Don't
Um,
worry about it. It's in the book. Oh my
that
goodness.
can,
There's a page in the book. I was like laughing the other day about that. Like the guy is now I'm spilling it. Like, I told you not to eat, not to eat that kind of food today. We're in a party.
and yeah, I mean, everybody farts, you know? We also have somebody else that typed in that says, good info. Continue to tell your stories to your family and your friends. They might not appreciate it now as much as they will when you're gone. Keep active and enjoy every day. There is something good about every day, and that's absolutely true. I love that aspect. I love the way that you look at that because we talked about staying optimistic too. And I will say, Len, when you started, you shared that picture and a little bit of a bio of Ian, and it said self-proclaimed COO, which usually means Chief Operating Officer,
Yes,
and it was Chief Optimism Officer, and I love that. I
yes,
think that's so
yes,
wonderful.
yes.
Um, yes, and Carla says, I hope I never look, I hope I never look like the lady on the cover. But you know what? Real beauty's on the inside, Carla. We have to remember that, you know? And Lori says, thanks so much for your presentation today, Len. It was very interesting. So
Well, I am happy to be here today. Definitely
thank you.
excited, but I hope that made your day.
Uh,
And you guys have a wonderful week. And
yes.
yes, I will stay in touch with Sarah for sure.
And yes, thank you everybody for being here today. It's been such a wonderful session hosting Len. Come on back next week on the 29th. We're going to talk to the creators of Life Echo Box Memory Vault. So this is something really, really cool. They've created kind of a memory vault for, after a loved one dies, you can sometimes, when my mom died, I was calling her phone as often as I could to hear her voice message. And so this is something that allows you to capture not only photographs, but voice and many other things. So it's a memory vault. I think that's going to be a really, really interesting one. So come on back next week if you can. And thank you again, Len. I really appreciate you being here and your time. And this is what we do at Kirby Unison online programs. We give hearts at the end. So thank you, Len. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This was a wonderful hour. I hope we see you all again soon. And take care until next time.
Until
Bye,
next
Len. Bye,
time.
everybody.